think about this. So the first part of what we want to do, the first part that we want to do is create what we call awareness. That's sort of the first stage of the funnel, is how do you become aware? So when you're online, you're searching for something, you don't know what it is yet. Let's say you want to go on a vacation. Let's say you want to buy a new pair of shoes, or let's say you want to get a new job. You are searching. You go into the search bar and you start searching for something. Now, hopefully you see some content, and that content's going to bring up that awareness. So that awareness is what you see out there, which is going to be the content that you have. Okay? Content could be a couple of things. Content, come around this side. Content could be a couple of things. Content could be the ads that we do, the Google ads. Content could be the emails that we send out, right? Now, it's hard to send out an email unless we know who that person is. So that's why it takes us to the next stage, which is consideration. So normally, when we become aware of something, what do you do when you become aware of something? Normally you click in on the ad, or you click into something, and then if you like something, if it's a good marketer, they're going to pop up and it's going to say, give me your email address, right? You want to capture that email address because it becomes valuable now. So at that point in time, this is where you create that email capture at this section right here, more or less. Maybe you want to, you're creating, during that awareness, you're creating some type of what we call CTA, which is call to action. And the call to action makes you take action, makes you want to do something. You want to do something. Give me your email address. Download a free PDF, right? Get a free vacation, sign up, whatever it is. Someone is taking action to do something. Let's say here we're capturing the email address. So now they became aware of us, and they're going to consider us, and we're capturing their email. The next stage, and these are going to be stages in the consumer journey. The next stage will be conversion. This here is the money stage, right? That's where you're going to actually get that transaction, to get conversion, and for someone to make a sale. So we're converting it. Let's say you got their email address. You send out a deal. Hey, buy something for a discount of $20 off. They click through, and now they say yes, and they get that sale. That's what you want this to happen. So that's good. That's a good thing, right? Okay. Does it stop there? Should it stop there? For us, it shouldn't stop there as a marketer. Why? Because the next stage we want is retention. So that first sale that we get is really important. That first sale is very important. Okay, we high-five each other, we got our first sale. But it's the second sale, the retention, the third sale, the fourth sale, the fifth sale. That's really what's important. That's the key. Because let's say that first sale is $10, and now we have retention, and that consumer is going to retain 5 times. 5x times 10, right? That's $50. So now you've got $50 from that one customer. Now there's a concept here that I want to share with you. It's called CLV, which is customer lifetime value. So that's how long a customer will stay with you, to make a purchase with you, to be a customer lifetime value. So let's say you sell hats, and each one of your hats are $10. And this customer comes and buys 5 hats from you in year 1. So now you generated $50 in year 1. Now, the next year, don't you want that customer to come back and buy hats again from you? Right? You do. So in year 2, maybe they buy 5 hats again. In year 3, maybe they buy another 5 hats. So now you have a customer lifetime value building up, which is really important. So now let's say they're with you for 3 years, and we know they spend $50 a year. So now that customer is worth $150 to you because they spent $50 a year for 3 years. That's customer lifetime value. So think of it this way. We all shop on Amazon, right? Amazon collects from most of their subscribers about let's say $10 a month. $10 a month from their subscribers. You give that to them every month, every year. So that's $120. If you're with them for 10 years, they get $1,200 for you for that 10-year period of time. It doesn't sound like a lot because there's one customer. Now, if you multiply that by 100 million customers, by 200 million customers, now you've got that's why they're the #1 business in the world, right? They got a big business. So that's really important to think about it. So your goal is to let your future consumer become aware of who you are, get them to consider you. Normally you get that email and you send them some email information and you convert them for that first sale. And then once you convert them to the first sale, you got to keep them to make additional sales. There's one more stage after this. That's called brand champion, right? Now, if you're a brand champion, what happens there? Well, if you're a brand champion, what happens is you start to promote the brand and you start telling everybody about the brand. Hey, this is the greatest brand I've ever seen. You have to get this brand. You have to buy this brand. Now they start to market for you and they become part of your marketing efforts, which reduces your costs and also helps with your word of mouth spread. So that's the final stage. You want to get them to be your brand champion. So where does the email marketing strategy come into play? At what stages will email marketing begin? Who could tell me? Awareness? Possibly. If you got their email marketing, right? More than likely it's going to happen at the second stage because of consideration, but if you were able to get their email through some other source, you could make them aware of who you are. Now, there's something to understand here. You cannot buy an email list. People have to opt in. They have to subscribe to your email list. So that's really valuable. We call that a double opt-in regulation. So buying a list or getting a list from somebody is not going to help you because it's going to be you're violating CAN spam regulations, and B, you're not going to get the type of consideration and conversion that you want because they don't know who you are, right?
For customers.
Yes, for customers.
For other things, there's lists.
Yeah, you can. There's lists. Listen, you can buy all kinds of lists for all kinds of different things. But if you want to email people, I wouldn't buy a list and then try to email them about your company because they don't opt in. Now, what you could do is, let's say you buy an email list. You could buy an email list and then say something like, hey, this is Professor Ken's digital marketing class. If you're interested, opt into my email subscription list and we'll subscribe to you. Then you're asking them to opt in and then they can say yes or no, okay? But you shouldn't start marketing to them right away because that violates CAN spam regulations and that'll be a problem for you. What's that? Investors are different because you're not sending out a massive email list. You're sending out a personalized email list. So there's two different types of emails there. There's the marketing emails. Well, there's three different types of emails we'll talk about. There's the marketing emails that come from what we call normally the marketing dashboard or an email service provider. We call that an ESP. That's like MailChimp and things like that. There's the transactional emails. The transactional emails are things that happen as part of a transaction. So let's say you buy something, you get a shipping notice from an email, something like that. And then there's the personalized emails you're sending from your personalized campaign. Those are one-to-one. You can send them off. There's no regulations against that. Somebody might ask you, hey, how did you get my name? You know, and you're going to say, oh, someone provided it to me, that type of thing, which is normally how you do it. But yes, that's how you do it. And if it's an investment email, if you're sending out an email for investment dollars, you want to be personalized anyway, so you want to try to do that. So, okay, good. So yes, So your email stages will really happen throughout all of this. Now keep in mind, you're sending out different emails at different stages. Like if you want someone to get to aware of you, you want to send out a different email introduction. If you want someone to be your brand champion, you're sending out a different type of email. What are we building here? What are we building here? We're building relationships, right? We're building relationships. So think about any relationship you've ever been in. At the very beginning, you're letting them know how good you are, how good you could be for them, what you offer, the things like that, right? It's a very soft sell. You're introducing yourself, you're introducing your email. At the very beginning, it's very easy. At the end, you're more intimate with details. You're giving them more reasons to really, truly fall in love with you. So that's how you're building up. So at every stage of the marketing, your email is changing. If you want them to be a retention, you might send an email like, hey, you haven't bought anything in 7 days. Buy something now and we'll give you 20% off discount. Something like that could work here. So we're trying to build on those stages. We're trying to build that relationship through our email campaign. That's the idea here, okay? All right. Who knows what segmentation is? Who knows what segmentation is? What do you think segmentation is?
For example, when you decide to divide how to implement your marketing.
How you want to divide, how you want to implement the marketing, what are you thinking?
The group of people you want to send a product.
Yeah, the group of people that you want to send a product to. What else? What do you think? Segmentation.
The general characteristics of what you want to sell.
Okay, the general characteristics of who you're going to sell it to. Well,
And if I have to put like a word, I would put like an inch to try to see where should I be employing this marketing.
okay, good. So you're focusing in the demographics, right? All of the above is actually good. So all of that is good. So let's graphically think what segmentation looks like. Okay, I'm going to draw this box here, right? Okay, everybody see that's one giant square. Okay, all right. Now, we got 4 squares, right? It's not perfect, right? But now, more or less, we've got 16 there, okay? Is that all the amount of squares you see there? How many segments, how many squares do you see in this section? Tell me how many squares are here. Let's count. 16. All right, you say 16. Let's see, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that right? No. All right, so let's keep going. How many do you see? What else? Where are the squares? Where are other squares?
I see 4 squares.
You see only 4? Or you see 4 more? You only see 4. Okay, I'll put 4 up here, but that's definitely not right. You say 20. Anybody else have a different number? 21? Anybody else have a different number? 28. All right, so let's see. So we all see the first square here, right? The big one. Okay, so that's 1. Then we see these 4 here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's plus 4, right? Then we see all these 16 individual squares, right? So that's plus 16. Okay. Do we stop there? No, because why? I see 1 right here in the middle, right? 17. Okay, I also see 1 here up on top, don't I? And 1 here at the bottom, don't I? So that's another 2. I also see 1 here over here, 1 here over here. That's another 2, right? Any other squares you see? Where? This one. Yep, okay, got it. So that's another one. So these 3. And then maybe I could do the same thing over there. And then I could do the same thing over here and the same thing over here, right? So that's another 3, because that's a 4 total. Anything else? I think we got a lot, so let's count them up. 16, 20, 21, 22, 24, 26, 30. More or less. Now, here's the point. This is truly what segmentation is. This is truly what segmentation is. Why? Because everybody in this square has a like interest. Everybody in here, let's say we're marketing to marketing students, right? Everybody in this square is a marketing student. But each one of these squares has a unique differentiating factor. Maybe marketing students in Miami, marketing students in Broward, marketing students in Palm Beach. I don't know what those unique factors are. Then you could also group them. Maybe all these marketing students over here in this corner are all 30 years old. Maybe all these are 21 years old. So you have to start off with a bigger group that has all like interest, and then you could break it down into smaller segmented groups. So when you're doing email marketing, as an example, you're doing email marketing. So let's say I want to do all marketing students, okay? All right, so let's get back to this. So how did we start? So we started with one big group, okay? So think of your email list like this. You're going to have all these emails coming in, and their email list sometimes could be 1,000 emails, it could be 100,000 emails. There are email lists in the millions, okay? Well, should I send out an email to 1 million people? Well, you can, right? But if I send out an email to 1 million people, it has to all be the same. Those 1 million people have to have the same interest. We know that they have an interest in your brand because they wouldn't be on your email list if they didn't have an interest in your brand. We know that. So if you just say something like, hey, this is Professor Ken, thanks for being on my email list, that's okay. But let's say you want to say something more specific, like saying, hey, this is Professor Ken, and I have a social media class for you, and you send that out. You could be hitting it generally, and maybe there's some interest there, but not everyone is interested in social media. Maybe some of them are only interested in email marketing. So if I send out a general email to everybody, the results I get won't be as strong as if I just focused that email onto one of my segments. I could also segment into age, I could segment into occupation. If I have that data on that email list, I could break it down and segment it certain ways. That's really how I would do that, okay? So that's the idea of how to break this out. This is what segmentation is. Segmentation is how you make it though. It's how you break it up. I can't tell you what the best practice is. There are different best practices, but they should all be like interested. They should all be similar interests when you segment the email down. That's really important, okay?